And where were you born?
I
And
was born in Columbus, Georgia, and I came to New York City in 1976, and I've been here ever since. And
now we're going to be talking about some things that you saw.
yeah, we're gonna be talking about Marsha Johnson, which was here in the village on Christopher Street, down in the Christopher Street Pier. And it was on a Sunday when I saw her, and it was on a Friday when I saw her, mostly during the whole entire weekend. And I saw this guy named Michael, which have been going to jail off
Wait a
of
minute, this was the night of July the 4th,
July
the
the 4th,
fireworks, right?
fireworks, right?
That might have
July.
been Saturday.
No, it might have been Saturday. I think it was
Right.
Saturday or Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
One in between those 2 days, I know
Right.
it was
Because they were
blocked off.
what you were there, and what there
Yeah,
were mobs of people
right, it was a whole lot of people, and
to do what?
they for the fireworks that night.
Uh huh.
And so what happened was this guy named Michael, he have a little mark on the side of his face,
Kind of mark.
a cut on the face when he got from prison.
From where?
From prison.
Where? But I'm saying where
on
on
his
his
right side of
face?
his face. Right
You
side
can
of his
see it
face.
very.
Yes, yes, and he have a plate in the top of his head, which is skin, like a skin. You can see it. It's a big old hole gap in the top of his forehead here, his top head, and he wears a scarf all the time around his head, and he's a very attitude individual. He's quick tempo, very much so, and
What? How old is he?
I don't know how old is he, but he could be in his late 30s or mid 30s, early 30s or early 20s. But I think he's in his mid 20s or 30s. And
And how tall would he say he is?
he's about 5'5" or 5'6".
No, you're 6 feet, so he's.
No, I'm not more than 6 feet. I'm 6'3". So I'm way taller than him. He's short. And him and Marsha Johnson was arguing that afternoon, and
Now this is the afternoon of the
July
fireworks,
the
right?
4th, yes.
Now what kind of argument? I mean,
And
what
it was
did
an
you see?
argument. What I saw was he was seemed like he wanted to attack Marsha during the time I saw. I know that he pushed her when I didn't see it. I saw him push Marsha. I do remember doing that, seeing that with my own eyes.
Now was he
And-
saying
Well,
anything?
yes, he was. He was saying, "I can't stand faggots," just like that. So my thing was.
Was he
didn't
alone?
He wasn't alone. He had to. It was the park. The park cop was riding up and down the park.
But I mean, did he have any friends? Was he
Yeah,
alone?
he was alone, but he had other people that knows him that was talking to him at the time. They were laughing, and when he pushed the guy, Marsha.
Now, were there women and men or just
women
men?
and men down there, gay and lesbians.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about in his little group, the people that he was
No,
talking
just
to.
men, mostly men I saw.
How many?
It was just three of them. Just them three. It was two other ones, but I didn't. I know they were both. All three of them was. One was Puerto Rican and one was black. Two was black. I do know that. No, but I didn't get a good look at the Puerto Rican guy. All I know he had curly hair and he was kind of cute, and that's all I can say on that case. But I do know that they was laughing along with them. I don't think they did anything to Marsha. I think that the guy I'm speaking about, Michael, did the most damage to Marsha. And
But what was he doing when you saw him?
but he was pushing on Marsha, telling Marsha to get his faggot ass from down on the pier and all that little crap. So then I left, and when I came back,
You left to. Wait
I
a minute,
left
you-
to go home. I left.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember the story. This has been a few years now, but didn't you were upset enough?
Yeah.
Did you go to anyone or ask anyone to help?
I went to the. I think I went to the bar. I went across the street to the bar, and I went to the police. And I told the policemen too, and I punt down there where they was. I told them something was gonna go on wrong, but they didn't pay me that much of attention. So then the cop did walk down there, but it was too late at the time that the cop walked down there when I spoke about it. I don't think he got down there in time enough. If he did, Marsha probably would still been alive today. But I doubt that he went down there because, like I say, if he had went down there, Marsha would have been alive today. Because they was very aware something was going on down on the pier. Because I did go, because it was a whole bunch of cops in the streets guarding the traffic, and I went straight over there and told them, I think something bad is going to happen. And they said, okay. And that was the last. Then I kept on going. I went on home. That's what I did. I went home. And when I came back, then about that midnight that night, I came back down that way, and everything seemed like it was calm. Then the next day, when I heard that Marsha had been drowned, and the first thing came to my mind, it was this guy Michael. I said, well, they was going after it real bad, so he's the only one that I know could have thrown this guy in the water. Nobody seemed to investigate what I'm saying. So I went to the police station with Randy Wickerson.
That's me, Randy Wicker.
Right. I
Right.
went to the police station with Randy Wicker, and the policeman took out a few books, but they didn't take out in the books, but they had black inmates that had been in prison before. They showed me a bunch of.
Now, how did they show you? How many?
She showed me a little small book, kind of like this book right here.
Yeah.
But it was a big book, but the book.
Well, hold up the pad because I don't want to go down. Yeah, right.
Okay.
And how many pages were in the book, and how
Well,
many?
I couldn't tell you how many pages was in the book, but I do know that he just showed me a book, and what I did see was a whole bunch of different nationality, maybe one or two blacks, but it wasn't that many, and then this guy wasn't in that particular book. But doesn't mean that the guy is not in a book, period. They just didn't give me the right book. Because
Okay.
they didn't see that they were interested in dealing with this case during that time that I went and spoke to them about. So they had this lady cop. Her attitude was so nasty. It seemed like she didn't really care one way or the other that they killed all the gay peoples down here on the pier.
Well, wait a minute now. I was there for part of that
you
interview.
were right, you were.
She even questioned if you were telling the truth about how tall you were, right?
Right.
And
she
marched you
was.
across the hall
Right.
and made you stand up against the wall.
Right.
And turned out you were the height that you told her.
That's true.
And now, then you said though that another officer showed you how many pages in the book, how many different pictures on a page,
Well,
maybe.
it was I think it's about 3 to 4 pages of pictures on the book. Like about down the line. And they're in a row down the line.
Right.
So.
But there were only 3 or 4 pages that he showed you.
I looked at 3 or 4 pages. They didn't show me. I looked at 3 or 4 pages in the book.
What do you mean? They handed you the book
They
and
handed
said,
me the
"Look
book
through
and said,
here."
Look through the book. That's what they did.
And after 3 or 4 pages, you stopped looking.
I stopped looking because it wasn't that the only thing I saw was a bunch of Caucasians and Puerto Ricans. It wasn't but 1 or 2 black people. And so then after that, I told them. Then I looked through the back of the book and saw the same thing. So I didn't see anything, So, but they weren't too interested because they just picked any book, just like this here. They just picked the book and just gave.
Were there a number of books sitting around?
Yes, it was 2 books that I noticed, and.
Okay, now what did they say to you when you told them you were a little bit afraid about maybe these guys getting you? That at the time you thought that you had heard about the reward from the Anti-Violence Project.
Well, I wasn't interested in an award, but I knew I needed the money. So I wasn't interested in an award. I didn't come to tell this story because I was interested in an award. I came to tell the story because Marsha was one of the nicest person that anybody could have for a friend.
And we'll look at here. By the way, why don't you pick up the Bible?
Okay, Marsha was one of the
Hold the Bible by your face so people can see you have the Bible. Now, you swear that you're a religious person, right?
Yes.
You swear that what you're telling me is true with the best of your knowledge?
I swear.
And if you happen to be gone from the scene, you would stand, if you would be careful.
By my word, yes.
Be very careful to make sure everything's as clear as you can make it.
Right.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
Now this fella with a plate in his head, one of the reasons when I was there with you at the police station, you were telling the woman that you didn't really have a whole lot of use for police. It seemed to me things went very bad in that interview because you ventured that you personally didn't have a whole lot of respect for cops. That
right.
I mean,
because
and
they're very rude people. They're cops.
you were telling when you had fights with trouble with people harassing you in your neighborhood that were drug dealers or something. You went, and what happened?
Policemen, and they want to lock me up in jail, which they did lock me up. And
for what?
They locked me up for cocaine, and I didn't have any. They had framed me, and so what happened was they told me they had what they call a bus. They have to have a certain kind of quarters. Cops have to have a certain quarters, and then when you caught walking down the street, doesn't matter if you're a working person or a 9-to-5 person, going to
Yeah.
work every day. If you get caught while they busting the person, and the white cop didn't like your looks, they would call you over and arrest you because they had to have a certain quarter to get paid or whatever. What I was told anyway. So they didn't care how people lose their homes or lose their jobs. They weren't interested in as long as they had a job.
So you told this policewoman about your peer, the bad experience with police, and
Right.
is that a point that did you notice she getting negative at that
Yeah,
point?
she got very negative at that point because she knew I didn't have no thing about cops. And maybe that's why she wouldn't want to investigate the case because I didn't like them. And I just told her straight out that I didn't like them. They make me nervous because they're not honest people. If they're people. In my personal opinion, I don't think cops are human. I think that they was made plastic by robots and they belong to the city. They are more gang and more killers than the killers that they're killing outside, the killers that are doing the killing.
Well, this is the kind of thing that you were telling the police too, and they didn't like that, right?
Right. I think the cops are original gang member. I think the governor is original leader. I think the mayor's original leader. The only people that runs the law is original leader or gang members.
Well, these are your opinions. Let's stick to the facts. I want to get back to the facts now. You saw these people harassing Marsha,
right?
And you went to get help from the cops. And as I recall, the interview we did 4 years ago when this happened, if I recall correctly, you said you went out and saw the fireworks on the pier, and then when you came back, you didn't see them standing there
anymore at all. I didn't see Marsha. I didn't see the guys anymore at all. I didn't see the cops anymore.
Okay, but when did you saw these? Now these people.
The fireworks were around 9:30 in the afternoon. The fireworks would start around between 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Okay.
And and I was there. And when I came back, when I walked to the back of the pier where everybody was standing at and watching the fireworks over there by the Statue of Liberty area, where we was looking after that in that direction for the fireworks, and while the boat was lighting up the George Washington on the Brooklyn Bridge for the fireworks, I walked back after I saw most of the fireworks. It was almost over. So when I walked back, I didn't see Marsha no longer, and I didn't see those guys no longer.
Okay, now these guys, had you seen them before down there?
I've seen them
Did you
before.
spend a lot of time down there?
I spend a lot of time down there every day. I goes down there every day during the summertime. During the winter,
Because
I
you
walk
were
down there once in a while.
What now? Don't you work? I mean, why? Did you have a lot of time on your hands?
I have a lot of time on my hand, and I work here and work there when I get someone to let me work, and things like that. So I didn't have that great education.
So I mean, are you live on welfare? I mean, how do you get your income?
I don't discuss my personal problem to nobody.
Okay.
That's just to me personally. I don't think that should have to be told to nobody.
Well, people just are going to suspect that maybe how does this guy live and pay his rent and everything?
But that's not their personal business. I wouldn't think that's their business. Number one, I'm telling the truth. That's all they need to know.
Okay.
And,
okay. Well, let's go back to this guy now. What did you know about him? You seen him before this happened?
Oh, I seen the guy many
Right. Now,
times.
tell me something about him. Did you see him dealing drugs or
I never saw him dealing in drugs. I saw him smoke a lot of weed and hang around those type of people sometimes, but I can't say that would be
Well, how about, you mean marijuana?
I seen him smoke marijuana a lot.
How about crack or cocaine?
I seen him smoke crack too. So, but my thing is, I'd be lying if I say that he sell marijuana or he sell drugs. I couldn't tell you that lie because I don't know that.
Okay.
So,
but now you said that he's known to be at this time, did you know that he was known for being a hothead?
Yes, he's known to be a hothead. He's known to take gay people home and beat them up and rip them off. I do know that for a fact. Other people.
But this is what you found out after, in the last couple of years, right?
Right. This is what I found out in the club called Two Potato. He hangs in there a lot in Two Potato, and so.
What does he do for a living?
Well, he's a hustler. He sells his dicks. He sells his penis, and whatever. If they have a chance to get him in bed, I imagine, because I know that I heard he's a very violent person. So if he's a very violent person, the person that got money, I doubt very seriously that he does anything.
Okay, well, let's get back to things. You know, Have you seen him or overheard him talking or anything down?
Yeah, I
mean,
heard him say
and
that
it's-
he just said he can't stand that faggot. He said he did admit that he killed some faggot called Marsha Johnson. I remember him. He didn't know the girl name. All he knew was Marsha. He didn't say Johnson. I'm saying Johnson. So
he said this to who?
he
When?
said
Where
it
were
to-
you?
I was in the Two Potato Club one night. He was bragging to some guys. He was getting kind of intoxicated, and he was talking crazy. And then the owner of the bar was gonna put him out the bar because he was very rude. He was very lousy. And so there was a light-skinned bartender during that time. I think it's Puerto Rican or black. I'm not for sure what nationality the guy, because he can be both. Be natural black Puerto Rican or black. So
he said was bragging to friends that I
bragging.
killed this drag queen, Marsha?
Yeah, he said he was bragging. He said I killed this drag queen and I killed a whole lot of more other faggots if I get my hands on a couple of them.
He said I will or I
He said
did.
I will kill a whole lot of more other faggots just like that. He said he cannot stand them. But he uses them and abuses them. He did say that.
Did he say anything about throwing people in the river or pushing them in the river?
No, he didn't say that. He just, the only thing he said that he had a fight with this person named Marsha, and he threw people. He said he had thrown people in the river. He did make that statement.
But did he say he threw Marsha in the
No,
river?
he did not say he threw Marsha in the river. He made a statement saying that he had fight with this guy named Marsha. And he had thrown some people's in the river. That's just what he said.
Oh, but he didn't say he threw Marsha in the river.
He threw Marsha in there. No, I can't tell that lie either, because I'd be lying if I said that. So I'm just telling you exactly what I heard with my ears. And this is
I thought a minute ago you said that he was bragging about doing that Queen Marsha.